something throughout the Discord, but either way. All right, and it looks like we are off, and already we're seeing a variation of different 1-1. The call going for that early mushroom grab to ensure that he gets his firepower as quickly as possible. We've seen a lot of the 1-1 grabs this tournament, a lot of the 1-2 early grab as well. It seems to be the safest of all of the mushroom grabs. We see some runners in personal best attempts going for the later mushroom grabs in 1-3 and 1-4. But as we talked about in prior days, the grabs are a little more tricky to get, and for it to be really fast in 1-3, you really have to get a clean grab, and same with 1-4, you have the third of the fire bar. So really good decision-making for a race for sure. But we have Baddap1, and Thelxinoe all going for a small Mario. We see a really cool and safe strat that Baddap and Fiend do right there, where they actually kick the Koopa shell in order to kill all those enemies in that tight area. So really cool to see that strat going on. I think it's the first time I saw it. So it looks like they'll be progressing to World 1-3, and if they are going for small fire here, the most probable chance of them getting a mushroom would probably be in 1-3. I don't see them going for 1-4 mushroom grab because it is a little more tricky. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on here. Because Baddap could still just, small Warpless this only and just run through 1-3. And we can see a little bit of the time differences here too as well. Because the call had to pick up 2 of those mushroom blocks. You see that he's a little farther behind, but he'll be able to make that up with Bowser kills and so forth, and not having to stop and slow down for small fire. And we'll see that coming up here. It's a really cool glitch if you haven't seen it before. Essentially, Mario hits the axe and hits Bowser at the same time, which causes the game to not change Mario's power-up. So he's still Big Mario, technically, but he got hit, so it's still Small Mario, if that makes any sense. You'll see here, both Fiend and Thelxinoe are going for it. So they take damage from Bowser, but they're still in their big form. That's what the glitch essentially does, and you'll see them grab the mushroom block in 2-1. And Baddap and the Call, both with really, really great kills right there. That was a really fast kill for both of them, so really nice stuff coming out here. And it looks like Baddap did go for big fire as well. I was a little surprised there. I saw him going with the small Warpless, so that's really cool to see. He's been practicing that, and he's been able to get that going. So we already see Fiend going for the small Warpless, or the small fire here, really cool. And Thelxinoe decided not to, actually, so he might have taken damage there, and that's probably the reason why, so he'll have to go as Big Mario and keep going as well. So now we're all entering 2-2. Our first swim level. This can get really tricky, but they all do have the firepower. So they are able to kind of cruise through, not really have to worry about the fish too much. The patterns can be a little tricky, but okay, so Rudy Thel missed the small fire, so he went for the glitch, and apparently he did not get it. So that can happen, and he was able to back it up there with getting the firepower. So it's going to slow him down a little bit, but not going to be the end of the world. He just will have to adjust to playing as Big Mario, and that's kind of the fear there, because you have to, work with dodge jumps, or duck jumps and so forth, it can be really tricky. So again, these guys are cruising through here. They do have the firepower, so not too bad. 7-2 is definitely a little more trickier than this level with the amount of fish and everything like that. So they're able to go through here. We'll see the pipe entries. We're looking like they're pretty clean over the reef, and they all kind of go through. A lot of 315s. We have the 314 on there on the board too, so pretty good. A lot of high. You got a 308, 309. So these guys play the water level really well. The best time you can get is a 310. So close to perfect for all of these runners. They're all playing really well right now. So 2-3 starts our cheap level, and our starts one of our levels that have kind of not random patterns, but they're generated patterns depending on what frame you enter the level. So all of these patterns are probably going to be different for all of these runners, depending on how tricky it is, depends on the pattern. But most of these runners will be able to, they've done these levels before, they're able to adjust, they're able to use duck jumps as Big Mario and kind of get through. But it can still be a very scary thing, and we've seen some runners have to slow down and play the safe way there, which completely makes sense for a race category. You do not want to get hit by one of those cheats, especially right before starting a Bowser level for sure. There is a firepower, or there is a mushroom block here, but again, it makes the level a little trickier if you don't have the firepower and trying to adjust through that as Big Mario. So we've seen some runners actually skip it when they get hit in 2-3 because they don't want to use Big Mario. It's a lot easier to get through 2-4 as small. And the same goes for 5-4 as well. Baddap with a really clean kill there, call as well. He looks like he took damage there. So he's going to have to progress and get another mushroom block here in 3-1. And we have a few mushroom grabs for him to get here, so he should be okay. He should be able to back up. It looks like this one's a little tricky. He kills the Koopas, gets him out of the way. He has that turtle shell going, but that's not going to be too much of a problem. He's going to keep progressing through the level. And it seems like they're really making it through nicely here. And a really, really clean ladder, or staircase from both Fiend and Thelxinoe. Same with Baddap. That staircase right there is very tricky. You have that Koopa that's kind of creeping. You have to left tap. And that left tap, if you do the level perfectly, and we see the call take damage, as we were saying. And if you do that level perfectly, you would just barely miss fireworks. So that's a very tricky jump there. 3-2 is another level where if you start killing some of the Goombas, some of the correct Koopas, it will manipulate the enemies that come up at the end of the level. So we might see some of the players here kill a few of the enemies in order to make the Goombas at the end of the level a little more easier to jump by. But either way, even with the 3 Goombas at the end there, it's really not too tricky of a jump. So honestly, it's just a little bit of comfort just to make sure everything is all good. So we're progressing now here. We have the call finishing up 3-2 while the rest of our runners get into 3-3. And this is one of our overhead levels. Pretty short level overall, not too scary. Just a few jumps, making sure that you snipe the Koopas as you progress to make sure none of them get into your way. And it looks like Thel and Fiend were both able to clean up the level pretty easily. Same with Baddap, you're going to get 260 on the board, which is very good. I think that's perfect. Call with a really nice mushroom grab there, or a flower grab there. That was very clean, very hard grab to get. It's at a kind of a weird angle, you know, to get it that quick is pretty impressive. So now we're progressing in 3-4, and we'll see a little bit of slowdowns here just to make sure that the fire bars and the balls don't hit. And Baddap doesn't slow down there, and that's what's taking the risk. He went for it. I don't know if he's looking at maybe one of the spreadsheets that tell him patterns or not, but he went for it there. He just got clipped by the Haidaboo, and it looks like the same happened for Call, so it's unfortunate fate. 3-4 can definitely do that. So we've seen some runners kind of slow down to make sure that doesn't happen, but these guys went for it. Respect to it, and Call taking a death right there, so he's going to have to do 3-4 over again. But he is small Mario. I'm curious to see whether he grabs the block here, or if he just tries to get through it as small, or what's going to go on here. So we have Thel getting an interesting block right there. Kind of picked that up nicely. But 4-1 is a pretty straightforward level. It's widely regarded as the easiest level in Super Mario Bros. Just because it's kind of straight through. There's a few mushroom blocks to get if you do need to back it up, but none of them are too tricky to get. So they consider that. And then we have 4-2, basically another straightforward level. If you go the top route, it is pretty simple, as we'll see maybe a few runners do. The bottom route is just as fast as the top route. It just adds a little more swag. So you see some of these runners, like your Fiend down here, sniping the piranha plants, looking really good. So it's really cool to see. It's a lot trickier than it looks to snipe. That really takes a lot of practice to really get down. So really cool stuff there. And we see Baddap, because he doesn't have that firepower, he's going to take the top route because he doesn't have the ability to snipe this piranha plant. So it would be a lot trickier. I'm not sure if you are able to get a perfect time without firepower, just because I don't know if the pipe jumps can work out in which way that it would be the same speed. But anyway, we're progressing down to 4-3. This is a really short level, kind of a few big jumps here onto the platforms, and then you're on. Baddap with a really cool grab right here, and he does end up taking a death, not able to get up to running speed in order to make it to the next platform. That is unfortunate, but what's really cool about seeing these Warpless tournaments is all the backups that these runners have when they take damage or whether they take a death. Baddap completely skipping the block right there, and I don't blame him. That is a really tricky block. So it is really cool to see some of these mushroom grabs the guys are going for. And so we have our first pattern Bowser level, is what we'll call it, meaning there's a top and a bottom route. When you go into the level originally, and we're seeing now Baddap is going into 4-4 to show you guys what he's talking about. You go to the top route, and it takes you on to progress the level, but if you go to that bottom route with the Piranha plant, it will actually loop the level around. So these runners know already what the pattern's going for, so we're not going to see any mistakes like that coming out. But it is really cool to see how the game works and so forth, and there actually are more patterns coming up, like in 7-4 particularly. Baddap making a really nice kill right there, really nice axe grab. Not having the firepower, so it's a little trickier, but he was able to slip through that. And we start World 5, and World 5 is a very scary level. It begins what a lot of runners think of as like the real start of the run. World 5 has a lot of little elements in it, generated by depending on what frame rule that you go on. Fiend actually just passed one. That cannon being a 5-2 can be very tricky for runners if they don't know where it's coming. So we'll see. Thel just goes for it. He didn't have the cannon shot. That was beautiful. He took the risk. I like it. And we're gonna have to see what happens here with Baddap. And we've seen some runners kind of stop on that cannon and keep going. We've seen some runners like Thel just completely jumps over it and doesn't mind. It looks like Baddap bonks a little bit there just to be safe, but he, again, doesn't get the bullet shot. So the game is really being really nice to these guys. And while we talk about things that are generated by what frame you enter a level, 5-3 is exactly like that. You see the bullet bill is coming, and at this point with these runners, this is just reaction. They have to look at where the bill is, and sometimes the bills don't come anywhere near them, you know? And it's beautiful, but other times those bills are testing the runners, so they have to be on their toes to make sure they're not hit. And we just saw Thelxinoe right there taking a very close bullet, and he was beautifully able to jump over that, so really nicely played there. And then we're starting 5-4. So 5-4 is a recreation of 2-4, just with more fire bars, a little more fires throughout the level, a little more trickier, as you can see. And Fiend playing really nice here, taking that slow down, not wanting to risk it. It is very easy for an input to get eaten or for you to get accidental damage in 5-4. So really nice play here. And you have Thelxinoe with a really nice duck jump. That's a lot harder than it looks. He's running through here, gets a really nice Bowser kill. Very nice. So these guys are playing really good right now. They're keeping up the pace, getting into 6-1. That's a pretty straightforward level for the most part, as long as you don't bonk on the stairs or anything like that. Baddap going through 5-4 right now, really clean. He was able to get a 262 with Small Mario, which I'm pretty sure is a perfect time for not getting the Bowser kill. So really nicely here. I'm curious to see what grabs. He'll probably make a mushroom grab here in 6-1, one of the earlier ones that aren't too bad here. Looks like he skips the 1. We'll see if he goes for the other one or not. But either way, now we're going on to 6-2, and like I was talking about yesterday, 6-2 is a lot easier with the firepower because of all these piranha plants. It can get really scary if you don't. You either have to do pipe jumps or you have to slow down, which is not ideal for a runner. So with the firepower, it makes it a lot easier. We see Fiend with a beautiful 342 on the timer there, having to slow down a little bit on the staircase to avoid the fireworks. Really nicely played. And this is another level like 3-1, that the staircase at the end is tricky. Players have to do that left tap in order to avoid the fireworks. So, and then we're progressing 6-3 is a very scary level as well. World 6 in general could just be a very terrifying area for runners. It seems like all of the levels kind of give a little bit of trickery there. 6-3, you have that middle area with the bullets, and there's a jump where you really have to hold Mario's momentum, or else it's immediate death. So, really tricky stuff. It looks like Thelxinoe just did that jump, and unfortunately, he does take that death. And that was a hard one because he did hit that beginning jump that is tricky. Unfortunately, he might not have been able to get back onto full running speed, and that could have been what happened there. But either way, he's progressing through it. It looks like Baddap is going to keep the small Warpless going for a while. I don't blame him for not stopping at for any of the 6-3 blocks, because that 6-3 block is a very scary one. It's something that I think we've seen a few runners go for, but it can be your demise if you don't get it correctly just because you're on that floating platform. And we see Baddap here taking an early death in 6-4, which isn't the end of the world because it's right in the beginning of this level. He's trying to go through quickly to make up some time, and he jumps over that really nicely. So he's able to get over the fire bar, or the fire boo there. So that was very nice from them. And Thelxinoe with a really nice Wow, Thelxinoe, the really nice under the Bowser, and it looks like he is going for small fire again. I've actually not seen this yet in a run. This is really cool. He's going for small fire Mario again in 6-4. Awesome stuff here. What a backup. I'm not sure if he got it or not, because we don't have the audio, so I didn't hear if he got hit at the same time. I'm assuming he did, but we'll have to see after a mushroom block here. And no, it looks like he did not get it, unfortunately, which would have been really, really cool to see. I don't think we've seen any fire Mario or small fire before one or after 1-4 before, so that's really awesome that he decided to go for it. And it looks like did he just get BBG? Am I looking at this correctly? Did he just get a 7-1 BBG? Oh my lord, Thelxinoe, is there nothing you can't do? Oh my lord, guys, I don't think that's any time save. I don't think it's going to help out with the run too much. But wow, what a player right there, ladies and gentlemen. Thelxinoe, guys. Wow. That's something that you'll probably only see in this race, guys. So I wasn't expecting way too many BBGs this tournament. That is so cool. So BBG, for anybody that doesn't know, is shortened for bullet bill glitch. Essentially, you hit a bullet bill on the right frame, and it starts a glitch where you hit the bottom of the flagpole. Mario kind of clip into the flagpole, kind of like flagpole glitch, but it will bounce him out because he clips far enough, and the timer will start instantly. So that's the big thing to remember about it. The timer starts as soon as Mario hits the flagpole, as compared to going all the way down the flagpole and going into the castle. But this is a little detailed of a glitch here. I'm sorry if that didn't make a lot of sense, but either way, really cool glitch. The scene of tournament race, especially a warpless race, you know. But either way, we're going to keep progressing with this race. It looks like that we have a few runners in 7-3, a runner finishing up. We have Fiend finishing up 7-4 right now, stopping for that Bowser kill, which is great strat. He doesn't have that bar on top to kind of bounce off again and keep his momentum, so he's having to slow down there. Call playing it safe towards the end of that 7-2, which is another nice place. That could be a little tricky here, for sure. So, looks like we have Fiend starting up 8-1, and again, with the firepower, this level becomes not as tricky as it would be with any percent, just because with any percent, you're going for those pipe jumps, those kind of crazy plays. But with that firepower, you don't have to go for them, and you're kind of able to just cruise through it. We'll see if he can pick up a 200 here, which would be the most optimal time. Mario time, of course. And yeah, we'll keep going here. It looks like Baddap has to slow down for Bowser there, which makes sense. That's a huge risk if he was going to try and jump over Bowser. If he gets hit by one of those hammers, that's the whole level over again, and that could be a huge time loss there. So we've seen runners when they don't have the firepower kind of stopping that situation, and I don't blame them whatsoever. And now two more of our runners, and Baddap and Thelxinoe are almost tied here. Thelxinoe just having the firepower advantage as of right now. And then we'll have the call finishing up 7-4 here. Looks like he did take some damage, so he might have to slow down for Bowser. We'll see what he goes for, or if he'll just, he'll go the YOLO moment, just really try and jump in. Fiend here using a nice safe strat towards the end of 8-2, because those Koopas can be very tricky. And can really cause you a hard time. So he does a strat there where he intentionally bonks off of the pipe in order to make sure those 3 Koopas are in an ideal spot for him to really just run under 2 and then jump over the last one. All right. And now we have 8-3, and 8-3 is a very scary level, again, like what I was talking about earlier with World 5, where it kind of has the enemies are generated patterns compared to what frame you enter. So it can be tricky. These Hammer Bros, I'm not sure what they're doing, but with this firepower, as you see Fiend using, he's able to just kill him straight up. So even if they want to jump, if they don't want to jump, doesn't matter. He's able to kill him. And beautiful, he bonks there at the end to get that, to avoid the fireworks, which is a really smart play. And we'll keep going. Baddap with a really nice play there at 8-2. It looks like he did a little quick, not really a pipe jump, but kind of like a quick little jump around in order to recover that. That was really cool to see. We have our other runners. Thelxinoe is going to be starting 8-3 here in a second. Getting those Hammer Bros actions, but he does have the firepower, so he should be okay with it. We have Wall Jump Rip coming up for Fiend. He's going for it. Oh, and he gets it. Nice. That's a nice 2-frame jump, and he's going for the next room here. 2 more rooms after this. He's just got a swimming room and Bowser, and then he will be done. We don't have the time for him, but we can just kind of go off of some of our other runners' times for him to see what his final time is. It looks like we have the call was getting a mushroom, so that's a decent grab right there. I think that he's trying to get that one and then one in 8-3 just to make the end of 8-3 a little more easier again, because those hammer bros can really be a pain for the ending there. And it looks like Fiend finishes up at around a 1925. GG's to Fiend. If he's on point with the other runners, and it was around a 1925. Great run overall, Fiend. That was amazing gameplay throughout. A lot of great backups, man. And we got two of our runners finishing up 8-4 as well right here, both with the wall jump. And now it looks like Baddap shorted that a little bit, but he was able to adjust it. Fel getting a pixel perfect right there. That was really nice to see. 2 levels for both of these guys. Baddap does not have the firepower, though, so it's going to be a little tricky. We'll probably see him wait towards the end to make sure he does not take damage, because that would be devastating to have to completely repeat 8-4. So I think we'll just see a waiting. Yep, and then he'll just run underneath. Ooh, that was really close. I got scared for a second. And it looks like Thelxinoe is doing the exact same thing. GG to both of these runners, both with really great times. A low 20 is not something to mess with in a Warpless tournament. These guys are played very consistently, and we got to see so many cool backups. GG's to Baddap, Thelxinoe, and again, Fiend for playing so well in this tournament. We have Call finishing up here. Let's see how his wall jump is and his 8-4 as a whole. Looks like he is going for 2 frames. Slowing down a little bit there. It looks like he'll just be going for the block. Just a little bit of a safer strat. Doesn't want to risk the wall jump. Because when you do miss the wall jump, you do take a little bit of a chance of getting hit by those 2 Koopas that are jumping behind him. So, again, the safe strat. Trying to finish the run, doesn't want to die in 8-4. I do not blame him whatsoever. 8-4 is a very scary level. It looks like he's playing it safe with the fire bars, too. Same idea there. It looks like we'll just have to hope that Bowser is nice. I'm assuming he's going to wait for him as well, as long as he jumps backwards. If he jumps forwards, he'll probably just run underneath him. So a backwards jump, and we wait, we run, and GG's. That's a 21-23 from the call. So great run from all of these guys. We were neck and neck. Baddap and Thelxinoe very close. We're talking 3 seconds off of each other. We have Fiend with around the 1925. He played out of his mind today, and Call finishing up with the 21-29, which is definitely a very solid race time. So GG to everybody. Thanks, guys, so much for being a part of this. Really cool that that we're able to get this kind of 2v2. Well, not 2v2, but 1v1 and another 1v1 going on for you guys. This is really awesome that I'm able to commentate this sort of a matchup. So I'm going to try and get these guys in here. Looks like we already have an invite. We have Thelxinoe. Thelxinoe, how you doing, man? How you feeling? Thelxinoe, you here? He joined for a second, but I guess he popped out. All right, we'll try to get these guys in here and we'll start it. They're in here now, though, so we'll get them to join and we'll get a post-game interview. But great run. That was really cool to see that bullet bill glitch from Thelxinoe, too. That's a little fan favorite right there. So it looks like Fiend's final time was a 1922. That is, I can't stress to you guys how good of a race time is. Any Super Mario Bros. Runner will sit here and tell you that a 1923 or 1922, excuse me, is a great time for him to get. So GG's to all the runners for how great that they played. Looks like that we got our runners in the commentary booth with me, and we're gonna get a little post-game interview. Guys, that was an amazing competition from both of you. Honestly, great performance. We'll start with Thelxinoe. Thel, how do you feel after that race? How do you feel after that PPG? What was the mindset there? Did you just think, I'm going to go for it and see what happens? Or what were you there in that level?
Yeah, I know I had no chance of winning, so I just decided to go for it, and I somehow got it, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool thing. Again, I don't think we're going to see anything like that in any of the other tournaments, so really cool that you're doing. Anything, Thelxinoe, that you saw, like, do you think you played well today? Do you think that there were areas that you want to improve on? Could we expect more times like this from you coming forward in the Warpless race and so forth?
I should have gone. One thing I want to say, I should have gone for pipe jumps because I didn't, and I got a forward Bowser, which doesn't change anything. But I'm getting small fire with a forward Bowser for some reason, so I should have just gone for pipe jumps. But I mean, 6-3. I don't even know what happened, but that was. annoying. But GG.
Yeah, GG's though. That was really cool to see you going for that small fire in 6-4 as well. I think it was 6-4, correct?
Yeah.
That was really cool to see. And again, yeah, that forward Bowser making it a little trickier for you, but you were able to pull it together. So GG to you. Fiend, I'm calling you Fiend because I cannot pronounce the beginning of your name.
No problem.
So you played out of your mind, man. A beautiful 1922. That was one of the best times I think we've seen so far.
Is that what it was? 1922.
1922. I think we had the Kate retirement. I don't know what's your personal best, just out of curiosity.
What was that? Sorry.
What is your personal best, just out of curiosity?
1911.
19. So my man's playing 11 seconds off of his personal best in a race, man. Tell me a little about that race from your perspective, dude. Was there any points where you were like, "Oh God, I'm losing it"? You know, do you feel like it was a good run throughout? You know.
Yeah, it was interesting. I feel like something always goes wrong. There's always some strange thing that happens in a race, and today it was that my timer failed. I have no idea why that happened, but anyway, if I have my timer, usually I can use the spreadsheet, right, to know what patterns I get on 3, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, and go a little bit faster. So I was running blind today, so I had to go slow on those 3 castles. But you know, overall, you know, running blind, it was a sick run. I feel really good about it. I feel much better today after a 22-minute run yesterday. That just kind of got me down, so it was good to come in and you know, put up a strong time. So.
You, man. No, I kind of was thinking you might have been using the spreadsheet with some of the plays, but guys, for anyone that doesn't know, the SMB runners have a spreadsheet that kind of allows them to know, depending on what time they enter some of the trickier levels, like 5-2, 5-3, it lets them know what the patterns are going to be, and kind of allows them to know whether they really need to stop in, like, say, 5-4 and 6-4 in areas, because they know exactly what those fire bars are doing. So GG to you, Fiend. That was a really nice run from you overall.
Thanks, man.
And Carl, man, how you feeling right now? And we had the rescheduling from yesterday. You played it really well here. I think your PB is what, like somewhere in the 19s? Right. So how was your perspective? We saw a lot of really cool backups from you, a lot of different mushroom blocks as well. Would you consider this to be a decent time for you? Or are we going to be seeing better times in the future? How do you feel about that last race? He said what could have been wrong went wrong.
Basically everything. I mean, kind of very bad partners.
Well, you know, this type of stuff happens. You know what I mean? This is a race type situation, so it can really mess with the mindset. You know, when you start making mistakes, and you know what I mean. You have to just keep going with the run. You have these ridiculous backups that you're not used to getting with personal best attempts and so forth. So I completely get that, man. GG's to you though, man. You kept it together, and you really kept it going throughout the rest of the run. So
I didn't just want to game over that point. I mean,
yeah, no, that's always a big plus right there. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, when you don't practice at all, I mean, usually every situation where I died, where I actually got very bad patterns.
Right.
But without any practice, for instance, in 5-3, I completely forgot about that ability that can spawn very low platform. So usually you just press down, and I completely forgot about that. So I kind of saw that and my muscle memory messed up it, and also the mistakes. I mean, War 3 was
right.
I took it everywhere, and I was a bad run.
Right. Yeah, but either way, man, you know, we'll be seeing more of you. You'll be pulling out those great runs, I'm sure of it, you know. But I think this is your first run of the tournament, correct?
I'm gonna be also the last because I'm already out. All the other matches have been played, and I should won be like 2-19-0. I should won the next 2 with the same times.
Right.
I got the partner, so I'm basically.
Well, GG's to you though, man. You know, again, like we were saying, man, great backups from you throughout. And again, you know, rough runs do happen, and especially in races. You know, there's only so much you can do. You can't change the past, you know. But
it's fine. I also like to see new people racing. I wish the best of the luck to Baddap. We off a great time, and I hope he can. I hope he will have a great round.
Right, completely. Completely agree. All right, well, do you guys have any closing comments? You know, Thelxinoe, Fiend, anything you guys want to say? We'll start with Fiend. Do you have anything you want to say before we head out here?
Yeah, just obviously just GG's to all the runners. The Thelxinoe, thanks for the race, and you know, good luck to all of you guys on your future races.
All right, awesome. Thelxinoe, you got anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
Not really. Just GG's to all the runners. That's and like I said, good for everybody else.
Yeah, GG's for sure to all. Like we've had so many great races over the past couple of weeks that the tournament's been active. So I'm just excited. We're gonna have a few more tonight, and one at 8 p.m., one at 10 p.m. And just throughout the week, we'll just be stocking up the races on SpeedGaming. So really exciting stuff. Carl, you got anything you want to add before we shut everything down and keep going?
Again, I mean, I love this tournament. I had 2 great rounds in the past years. Right now, the whole situation is what it is. I just watch the tournament. I was sure I would have taken like a big hit, a big backstab. That's okay. I like to see a lot of new players.
Right, no, it's a very exciting thing. You know, shout out to Rupert and anyone else that was involved with setting up this tournament. It's really awesome to see all these guys come together and have kind of like a bigger tournament like this. At least since I've been a part of the community, I haven't really been a part of any of the tournaments. So for me, you know, it's been really cool to be able to do some commentary, see a lot of the people that I know running this game, and really give it a lot more exposure. So thank you so much for everyone for joining me, Thelxinoe, Fiend, and the call. Appreciate it. GG's to all of you. And we're gonna keep going with this. Again, we have runs coming up tonight, like I said, 8 and 10 p.m. Do not miss it. 8 p.m. will be on SpeedGaming 3. And 10 p.m., I will double check now, but I don't think that we have an exact channel. We'll be on SpeedGaming, but I want to just check real quick for you guys before I head off here to see if we have already. So it looks like, again, 8 p.m. will be SpeedGaming 3, 10 p.m. Just keep your eyes open. We don't have scheduled for it yet, at least not officially. So keep your eyes open. That will probably be on SpeedGaming 3 or one of the other neighboring channels. GG's to all runners again. Follow SpeedGaming if you haven't. They do tons of great speedrunning events. Not just the Warpless Tournament, but tons of other things that are going on. But until next time, until 8 p.m. tonight, guys, my name is The Crit, and I'll be commentating throughout the week for various runs. Tonight we'll have, I think, the Elder Spook is doing it, I think. Yeah, the Elder Spork, I'm sorry. The Elder Spork will be commentating tonight. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your afternoons. This is Crit signing out.
Later.